Hello my friends, hello boys and girls, that's me Ravi from EnglishHarmony.com, your friend and your fluency mentor. And today, let's touch upon the subject of using your body language when you speak with other people in English. You see, I strongly believe, and you may disagree, right, but the fact of the matter is that your body language helps you tremendously to become a successful communicator in English. If I were to stand like this without using my hands at all, tell me, would I seem so friendly? Would it be easy to perceive the verbal message I'm trying to get through to you? Probably it would, because the words still express all the abstract concepts, and in theory, it should be quite easy and straightforward to understand what I'm trying to say. In reality, though, I believe that the three things, my hand gestures, my facial expressions, and the words, the actual verbal message, right? I believe that the three streams of information combined make for the best perception. And it's actually of tremendous help if the person you're actually speaking to uses their hands vividly, and they're actually using their facial expressions to complement the verbal message. And I strongly recommend you do the same thing, especially when using phrases that actually demand hand gestures, such as, I was this close to being sacked because I was running late 3 mornings in a row, and my boss met me at the entrance and he says, what's the matter with you? Why can't you make it on time? See how I'm using my body language even now? Because I'm used to that. I'm that type of personality. If you're not the same, that's fine. You don't have to be too animate of a character, you know. But when using phrases like, I was this close to being sacked, and sacked is, if I'm not mistaken, it's British for fired. In America they say fire people, you know, in Britain they say sack people when they're kicked out of their jobs, basically, you know, for some breaches of disciplinary rules of the company, for instance, or some gross misconduct or whatever, you know, or for being absent, for running late constantly, right? And if you don't say, I was this close, then the verbal message you're communicating to your friend or to a group of people, it loses its importance. I strongly believe so. Compare the two. I was this close to being sacked, or I was this close to being sacked. Now, I'm actually indifferent. There's no emotion in the message. I was this close to being sacked. But when I'm saying, I was this close to being sacked, it actually adds a dramatic effect to the verbal message. And everyone understands that the chances of me being sacked were really big. I was this close. And also my facial expressions contributed to that dramatic effect, you know. Everyone can see that I was very agitated and I was actually this close to being sacked. And the situation was very serious. And here's another typical example. Here's a typical English phrase which you can use when you describe that something happened very easily. It happened just like that. But now, look at how I'm using my hands to complement that phrase. It happened just like that. Now tell me, isn't it easier to perceive the message when I'm saying it happened just like that? You mightn't actually even hear the words spoken, but if you've seen someone make this gesture and go with their face like this, you know, as if something good happened, and that's what the message is all about. Something good did happen. That person did something very easily. You know, it happened just like that. I was going for the driving exam yesterday to get my driving license, and I passed the exam just like that, no problems. Everyone understands what you're talking about. And people might be obscuring that person's speech, but still, if you just catch the couple words, driving exam, then you can understand very easily without actually hearing the last words of the sentence that most likely the person passed the exam with flying colors, you know, just like that. But if you're being completely indifferent, there's no emotion put into your verbal message, and you're saying to the friend you're talking to, yesterday I went for a driving exam and I just passed it just like that. It doesn't work, does it? I believe that those 3 words, just like that, actually demand your hand gesture, right? And here's another example. There's a typical phrase which you can use to describe that the person in question totally disagreed. They weren't okay with what you offered. And the phrase is, she wouldn't have any of it. Or he wouldn't have any of it. Depending obviously whether it's a female or a male person you're discussing, right? And the phrase, she wouldn't have any of it, can be used when you tell some friend of yours, for instance, that you were discussing going to a movie theater later on that night with your sister, but she was preparing for her test tomorrow. And you offered her, listen, I'm going to drive you home, you're going to be home very quickly, and you'll have enough time left to prepare for your test anyway. But she wouldn't have any of it. She was so conscientious about her test, and she's so afraid that if she doesn't pass the test, that she won't qualify for free studies, for the student credit or supplementary payment or whatever it might be. I'm not really sure about that term, right? But anyway, it's not the main point of the video I'm doing now. The main point is that the phrase, she wouldn't have any of it, can be so much better communicated to the other person if you add that dramatic effect by using your hands. She wouldn't have any of it, or she would have none of it, and you're actually using your facial expressions as well, You draw your face like that in a very sour expression, if I can say so, to describe that she was totally disagreeable, she wouldn't have any of it, and she's not going to go for your offer, So these were 3 vivid examples. I was this close to being sacked, and it doesn't have to be sacked, it could be something even more serious. I was this close to dying because I participated in the ball run in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. That's how it might be called, the ball run, when they release balls in that narrow street, and then people are just trying to escape. They run away from the balls, and some people get seriously injured every year, and sometimes the end result is quite lethal, you know what I mean? And then if you're telling your friends, listen, I happened to be on that street, I didn't actually know what I'm getting myself into, and I was this close to being killed because a ball actually whizzed by at one moment, and I thought, Jesus Christ, what if I was speared on his horns? I would definitely got killed down here. And that's not why I came down here to Spain. I was actually visiting my friend, and I didn't know how it happened on that street, And this close to being killed is actually more dramatic than this close to being sacked. But anyway, that's the phrase you can use. I was this close to something. And then the other phrase is, something happened just like that, I was very, very lethargic yesterday. I went to the gym to have my workout, and I couldn't actually bench press 80 kilos, even though on other days it just happens just like that. Sometimes I can bench press 100 kilos just like that, for 10 reps straight. And the last phrase was, she or he wouldn't have any of it, These are typical phrases where you just have to use your hands, or at least I believe so. If you're in the belief that you don't need to use your hands, that your verbal message is strong enough and that other people always understand you without using your hands, then you're fine. But I'm just trying to tell you, my friends, that to become a strong and effective communicator in English, especially considering we're all foreigners, right? I strongly believe that our hands can be a big help when we speak with others, and it can help us to illustrate the abstract concepts we're trying to communicate to other people, We are trying to communicate with other people. This was a typical example of how I'm using my hands, and you may as well just embrace the same concept, my friends. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and see you soon again. Bye-bye.